Today I'm going to discuss the most beautiful story of the BA program students Fluency in English Girls by the Marinal Pande. Girls was published in 1983 twice, firstly in Hindi Dramayug and secondly in English in a journal Manushi. The story aims to bring to light the condition of the Indian women of the 1980s. The Marinal Pande is a social activist and has written many short stories and play on the social issues like gender discrimination and lives of women, especially belongs to the middle class. Girls is one such short story that project the grown up in a bad light for their unreasonable behavior towards the girls. So in this paragraph we comes to know that how the girls was published in 1983 twicely, firstly in Hindi Dharmayug and secondly in English in a journal Manushi. The story aims to bring to light the condition of the Indian women of the 1980s. Mainal Pandey is a social activist and has written many short stories and plays on social issues like gender discrimination and lives of women, especially belongs to the middle class. Girls is was a short story that projects the grown up in a bad light for their unrenewable behavior towards girls. Marinal Pande's short story Girls is explores these injustices through the eyes of an 8 years old girl who strongly protests the practice of worshiping the girl when in reality the entire society doesn't even want them. So Marinal Pandey he try to explore the situations of the Indian women's condition in Indian society where nobody wants a girl as a child, but everybody is ready to worship them on the day of Ashtami and Navami Pujan. So the story whole revolves around Lali's middle daughter, who is the narrator of the story, the and who whatever she observed uh, about the in her family and about the society, and this kind of views of her is explored by the Marinal Pandey in this story. So now we comes to know that how the 8 year old girl is so naughty, but she is intelligent and she ready to face the society and Indian society rules and regulation, and she noticed the discriminations between the male and female child and the gender discrimination which is still continued in our society and become a most discussing topic and issue in about the Indian society women's conditions. The narrator, the middle daughter of the Lalis, is saying that everything is a problem for mother, whether the things are sound or in turmoil. But then we understand that why everything has become a problem with her. She was going through the pregnancy for the fourth time in hoping of a son while managing three daughters already. So here the जो narrator है वो क्या the middle daughter of the Lalis is saying that everything is a problem for her mother. She is facing lots of problems because she already have a three daughters and already managed to grow up, bringing up them. But now she is hoping for a next child. Where now she is hoping for a boy, and what kind of a mentality of her family and the society is shown in this story. But then understand that why everything has become a problem with her. She was going through pregnancy for the fourth time and in hope of a son while managing three daughters already. Though we can see that the story is narrated from the young girl point of view, yet other perspective to come into play. There is the mother perspective who is tired of repeated pregnancy in the hope of bearing a male child. There is the author perspective where Marinal Pande point to the elder woman plight and pressures um, of living in a society where men hold most of the power and importance. So, though we can see that the story is narrated from the young girl point of view, yet other perspective to come into play. There is the mother perspective who is trying to repeat pregnancy in the hope of bearing a male child. There is the other perspective where minor point to the elder woman plight and pressures of living in a society where men hold most of the power and importance. ठीक है? So this kind of point of view and this kind of difficulty she is facing here. Now, in the next paragraph, the grandmother's statement that if one is born a girl, one has to bend for the rest of one's life significant, as it depicted the condition of women and also the discriminatory attitude towards female in a male-dominated society. It is a direct reference to the subjections of a woman in the Indian household. The old lady from the neighborhood, as well as the grandmother, wishes and pray that a boy would be born to Lali's this time. Clearly, there no welcome for another girl child in such a setup. Therefore, it is clearly described in the story there is not only man who discriminations um, women, even women also for upon on the girls children. So यहाँ पे in this paragraph he comes to know that how the girls यानी कि like grandmother and the other society women is also wishing for a another mm, child as a male child. Nobody is here ready to welcome another girl child already have, as she already have the three daughters, so everybody wishing for a male child. So here the narrator is also describe the point of view of the society and the other women in the family who is accepting um, fourth baby as a boy, not a girl. There is no welcome for another girl child. So the grandmother's statement that if one is born a girl, one has to bend for the rest of the one's life significant, as it depicts the condition of women and also the discriminatory attitude towards female or male-dominant society. It is a direct reference to the subjections of a woman in a Indian household. The old lady from the neighborhood, as well as the grandmother, wish and pray that a boy would be born to Lali this time. Clearly, there is no welcome for the another girl child in a such setup. Therefore, it is clearly described in the story there is not only man who discriminate who discriminations who make discriminate women, even women also foreigner on the girl children. So in the next paragraph, the eldest of the three daughters has found a way to survive in the biased world. She is aware of the discriminatory treatments but submitted to the expectations of the elders regarding female children, as that seems to be the only way to peace. The younger girl is too younger to decipher the game of the elder woman and the marginalization of a girl. And the eldest of the three daughters has found a way to survive in a biased world. ठीक है? And she is aware of the discriminatory treatment but submitted to the expectations of the elder regarding female children, as that seems to be the only way to peace. The younger girl is too younger to decipher the game of the elder woman and the marginalizations of the girl. So यहाँ पे बात की जा रही है elder sister की, who is already aware the discriminatory system of the society and the other women in the Indian society, who she accepted this discriminatory system and treatment for the girls already because she wants to um, be in a peace peaceful condition, and she wants to live in a peaceful life. That's why she already ready to accept the this kind of discriminatory treatment of the Indian society about the women. The young girl is too younger to disappear, so जो young girl है वो already बहुत ज़्यादा disappear है टू अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए उनके जो गेम है, जो उनका एक मार्जिनलाइजेशन है अबाउट द गर्ल्स को लेकर के हमारे इंडियन सोसाइटी में, उसको समझने के लिए शी इज़ सो डेसिपियर, सो शी इज़ नॉट रेडी टू understand, and she is not able to understand. The elder first is already accept the marginalization behavior of the other Indian women of the society, so she accept it in a peaceful manner. The middle daughter of the Lali who raised her voice against the gender issues, which is very sensitive and passionate about it. The narrator shares a warm relationship with her father, who, unlike her mother, who is ready to listen her and encourage her to become something in her life, but he to give tactic and consent to the injustice against the girl children. The middle daughter of the Lali who raised her voice against the gender issue, which is very sensitive. So जो मिडिल डॉटर है लाली, उसने रेस्ट किया है अपनी वॉइस को अगेंस्ट द जेंडर इशू, which is very sensitive and passionate about it. The narrator shares the warm relationship with her father, who, unlike her mother, narrator ने शेयर किया अपना warm एक relationship with her father, who, unlike her mother, जो कि उसकी मदर को पसंद नहीं करते, who is ready to listen her and encourage her to become something in her life. So now the father is here, who is not like the her mother, but he is hoping for the Lalis who raised her voice against the sensitive issues, and who is ready to listen her and encourage her to become something in life, but he is to give tactic consent to the injustice against the girl children. So क्योंकि ये एक tactic consonant है to the injustice against the girl children, so as he is ready to support her to become something in her life. We are getting multiple perspective on the situation here, even though the story is being told from the first person narrator point of view. The story is reached its climax here when things fall into perspective. All along in the story, girls have been treated as second to boys. The three sisters are only a nuisance and nonsense and the problem. The desire of a male children and the desire of a male child dominates all the discussions of Lali's pregnancies. On the day of the Ashtami, they suddenly seen as a goddess. The narrator is deeply hurted with the hypocrisy. So now the narrator is deeply hurted with the hypocrisy in our society, where the girls are considered as a goddess on the Ashtami days, and the other days they were treated as a nonsense and a problem. So the narrator is very hurted with the this kind of discriminatory treatment with the girls, and mm, she raised and explored her views through the narrator small girl point of views, and how she's feel when someone is treating as a second to a boy, and which kind of discrimination in our society, in the family she is faced, and her point of views she explained in this paragraph. So we are getting multiple perspective on the situation here, even though the story is being told from the first person narrator point of view. The story has reached its climax here when things falls into perspective. All along in the story, girls have been treated as a second to the boy. The three sisters are only a nonsense and a problem. The desire of a male child dominates all the discussions of Lali's pregnancies. So on the day of the Ashtami, they suddenly seen as a goddesses. The narrator is deeply hurted with the hypocrisy. Through the narrator, Through the narrator, we are also getting the author perspective on the problem, who has successfully exposed the duplicity in our society. The disturbing fact is that the women themselves are shown to be responsible to quite extent for the gender discriminations so deeply ingrained in our social framework. So, through the narrator, we are also getting the authored perspective on the problem, who has successfully exposed the duplicity on in our society. The disturbing fact is that the women themselves are shown to be responsible to quite extent for the gender discrimination so deeply ingrained in our social framework. So, um, narrator के point of view से and through the narrator point of view and their perspective, we comes to know that the how the women are also responsible for this extended for the gender discriminations. So women are women in our society is also responsible for this gender discrimination, who is always ready to support a male child in the comparison of a girl child, and treat them as a nonsense and a problem for the other and the family. Through the narrator, we also getting the author perspective on the problem, who has successfully exposed the duplicity in our society. The disturbing fact is that the women themselves are shown to be responsible to quite extent for the gender discrimination so deeply ingrained in our social framework. So the now we have the conclusion of the story. The motive of the story was not to show women in a bad light, but to bring the surface what is wrong and what can be meant. Time have changed, the things have become advanced. Women are no longer confined within the boundaries of their houses, but even one can safely accept and believe that the boys and the girls both are considered equal. So now the narrator is trying to say that the time has changed. So now the woman is not only for the household work, for kitchen work. Now the women are also ready to going for job and earn the money, and they can also support financially family. So the time have changed. So now the narrator is trying to explore his point of view through the middle daughter of the Lali perspective and her point of views, how the discriminatory behavior and the treatment through the women are continued in our society, which are the big issue, which are the more responsible for extending the discriminatory behavior towards the women, and the women are in our society is also supporting a male child and a male person to extend this discriminatory behavior in our society. They never realize that how the women are also equals to a boy, and they can also do all the things which are necessary for the financially in support in our family and other things. They can also um, do everything whatever a male child can do for their family. So I hope you like this video, which is very important according to your examination point of view. And first of all, I've now we have a question answer. Who is the narrator of the story, and what details can you gather about her from the story? And uh, mm, in order to explain this answer, first of all, you have to write your answer in the same structure. First of all, you have to write the introduction of the girls by the Marinal Pande, and how the girls was published in 1983 twicely, and firstly in Hindi Dharmayug and secondly in English in a journal Manushi. The story aims to bring to the light of the conditions of the Indian women of the Indian 1980s, And Marinal Pande is a social activist and has written many short stories and play on the social issues like the gender discriminatory and the lives of the women especially belong to the middle class, and Girl is one such short story that projects that the grown up in a bad light for their unrenewable behavior towards girl. So how in this paragraph we have discussed about the girl's story by the Marinal Pandey, and now you have to give the Marinal Pandey introduction. Um, how the Marinal Pandey short story Girls is explores is this is just through the eyes of an 8-year-old girl who strongly protests the practice of the worshipping the girls, where when in reality the entire society doesn't even want them. So how the 8-year girl protest against the practicing of the worship on the Ashtami day and the Navami days. The in our Indian society, the worshipping is going on for the girls. They consider them as a goddess Durga, but on the other day they consider them as a nonsense, as a problem. So now 8-year girls point of view and other 8-year point of views, we should explore the discriminatory behavior of the women in our society as well as the patriarchal behavior of the male in our Indian society. So, in the next paragraph, the narrator, the middle daughter of the Lalis, you have to explain all these things, take, and is saying everything is a problem for her. So the narrator's 8-year girl is saying that everything is problem for her mother because she is accepting her fourth baby and she is pregnant, and everybody wants a boy and a male child. She already managing three daughters, and now the fourth time she is also accepting a male child as a baby. Though we can see the story is the narrated from the young girl point of views and yet other perspective to other come into the play. There is the mother perspective who is tried repeated pregnancy in the hoping of bearing a male child. There is the author perspective where the Marinal Pandey point to the elder woman plight and the pressures of living in a society when men who hold the most of the powers and the importance. So how how the male child is so become powerful in our society because everybody wants to um, a child and give them all the powers and importance in their family. So in the next paragraph, we have discussed the grandmother's statement that if one is born a girl, one has to bend for the rest of one's life significant, as is depicted the condition of the woman and also discriminatory attitude towards the females in a male-dominated society. It is direct reference to the subjections of a woman in the Indian household. The old lady from the neighborhood as well as the grandmother wish and pray and that the boy would be born to the Lali this time. So everybody is praying for a male child. Nobody is ready to welcome another girl because or she already have three daughters and managing them. Now everybody accepting a boy from her, and how the things become very difficult for her. So यहाँ पे in the next paragraph में बात की गई है the elder sister की who is the elder sister of the three daughters has found a way to survive in a biased world. She is aware of the discriminated treatment but submitted to the expectations of the elder regarding female children, as that seems to be the only way to peace. The younger girls is too younger to disappear the game of the elder woman and the marginalization of the girl. So in this paragraph he comes that कि the younger जो eldest daughter है she has already accept the marginalization behavior of the girls towards uh, in our society about the girls, and she is ready to accept this kind of discriminatory treatment in a peaceful way. Or on the other hand, the younger daughters of the Lalis are too young to understand the disappear behavior and the treatment of the women as well as the males in our society about the me about the girls in our Indian society. So, in the middle daughter of the Lali who raised her voice against a gender issue which is very sensitive and passionate about it, the narrator shares a warm relationship with her father who are like her mother. So here the father is very supporting and he support her to narrator wants to he should, wants to see that she wants Sam to become someone in her life, and her father support her uh, for her aims and whatever she wants to be in her life. We are getting multiple much perspective on the situation her even though the story is being told from the first person narrator point of views. That is the short story reaches its climax here when things falls in the perspective. All along in the story, girls have been treated as a secondary to the boys. So यहाँ पे इस पैराग्राफ में बताया गया कि how the always in our Indian society girls always treated as secondary to the boys. On the day of Ashtami, they suddenly seen as a goddess. The narrator is deeply hurted with the hypocrisy. So, through the narrator, we are also getting the author perspective on the problem who has successfully explored the duplicity in our society. So, this kind of discriminatory behavior, the narrator is also hurted with hypocrisy behavior in our Indian society. So, in the conclusion, you have to write a conclusion which is very important. You can write in your own language, in your own words also. And here we have the conclusion of the story. The motive of the story was not to show the woman in a bad light, but to bring the to the surface what is wrong and what can be meant. Time has changed and the things have become advanced. Women are no longer confined with the boundaries of their houses, but even one can safely accept and believe that the boy and girls are both are considered equal. So in this paragraph, we comes to know how the girls have becomes equal to a boy, and because she can also earn money, she can also go out of the house and manage all the things in the same manner a male child doing out of the house, and she can also earn the money for and she can also financially support her family. How is the narrator elder sister is differ from her, and what makes her more acceptable family? So द नेचर की जो एल्डर सिस्टर है उसके बारे में हम इस पैराग्राफ में ऑलरेडी बात कर चुके हैं, वहाँ जहाँ पे हमने ये एक्सप्लोर किया है हर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. शी इज द एल्डर सिस्टर ऑफ द थ्री डॉटर हैज फाउंड a way to survive in a biased world. So she is ready to live in this biased world. She accepts the situation and the discriminatory behavior of the women and as well as the main in our Indian society about the women. And on the other hand, the younger sisters and daughters are is too younger to understand this kind of uh, discriminatory behavior and the game of the elder women and marginalization of our girls. So I hope you like this video, which is very important. Thank you so much.